Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another book recommendation. I'm literally sitting in my bed, comfy, wearing my PJs. This shirt is so cute. Julia Breyer hockey shirt from Simply Sahara Co. on Etsy. Today we're going to be talking about books where the boy falls first, because sometimes these books just hit different. Like when the guy is pining after the girl, or the guy loves the girl more from the start. Something about that trope, since it's so unrealistic, just hits different for me. I really do like it when the boy kind of realizes his feelings before the girl. So today's recommendation video is going to be all books where the boy falls first. The first book I'm going to be talking about is The Deal by L. Kennedy. Wait, Garrett Graham himself. The first book of the off-campus series, Hockey Romance. And in this book, Garrett is on the hockey team, but he is failing one of his classes. One day in class, he gets an F on a test. He looks over, the girl near him has a perfect score, and he's like, oh my god, to this girl, I need you to tutor me so I can play on my hockey team. How did you do so well? Everyone in this class failed. I need you. And she is like, no, you're a player. I don't have time to tutor you, and I don't want to tutor you. And then he notices that she kind of has a crush on this other boy in their class. So he's like, I will help you get with that boy. I will make him jealous. I will like essentially fake date you in exchange for tutoring me. And that gets her. She agrees. She starts tutoring him. They start spending a lot of time together. The whole time it's kind of weird because they know that really she's working towards getting with another guy, and there's just so many situations in this book where Garrett finds himself getting really jealous over things she does even though he's not supposed to. And I felt like this one was definitely like a boy falls first, boy falls harder. Hannah has been through a lot and has a lot of trauma that she's working through, and Garrett kind of helps her with that. It was like the first girl that he's ever really caught feelings for, and he realized that first. Garrett is one of my favorite book boyfriends. I love him so much, and I love this series and this book especially. Next book is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena R. Moss, which is one of my new favorites I read recently, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm literally obsessed. It's all I think about like 24/7. It is workplace enemies to lovers fake dating romance. That is a lot of tropes. Basically, Aaron Blackford, oh my god, he's just perfect, overhears Lena talking to her friend about how badly she needs to bring a date to her sister's wedding because her ex-boyfriend's gonna be there, and it's gonna be so embarrassing if she goes alone, and she has no one to go with her, and she's just really desperate for someone. And he immediately volunteers himself. He's like, I'll go with you, even though they're like allegedly enemies. They're more rivals than enemies, and Lena's just never really liked him because she overheard him talking shit about her one time. She is like, no, I don't want to bring you to the wedding, I hate you, whatever. And then as time goes on, she realizes she's really desperate, and he's like, hey, I need you to be my fake date for this event, so we'll be even. You go with me, I'll go with you. So she ends up agreeing. They go to his fake date. You can kind of tell that he is just way too into it to be faking. There's just so many instances and so many like moments of tension between them, and then they go to Spain for this wedding. They literally have to travel together, and Aaron starts getting really protective of her and meeting her family, and he's so sweet. He does such little really thoughtful things for her throughout the book that is just so cute, and you can just tell he's like in love with her from the start. Oh my god, I loved it so much. And they're faking this whole time, but then the lines start to blur. Are we faking? Like, this feels kind of real. Oh my god, I kind of like you. Lena's having some revelations about Aaron and her feelings towards him, and Aaron definitely fell first, and I loved that book so much. If you love rivals, lovers, or fake dating, like, that book will be perfect for you. And the tension between them and the way that Aaron shows his fake love for her, oh, so good. And then similarly to that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is also workplace rivals, enemies to lovers, competing for the same job title. Josh, he's just so dry and straight to the point and just does not like Lucy, the girl, but Lucy is like so happy and bubbly and is always like, why doesn't he like me? Like, it's so annoying that he doesn't like me. Everyone likes me except Josh. Like, what did I ever do to him? And so she doesn't like him because he doesn't like her, and then they're like butting heads, competing for this job title. But there are so many soft moments where Josh lets his guard down kind of by accident and exposes his feelings from the start, like little moments throughout the whole book that just really show that he's been in love with her this whole time. It's definitely a grumpy sunshine trope. It was so cute. There's like a moment where she gets sick and he takes care of her even though he hates her, and he's so soft with her. And when the whole thing gets revealed of why he didn't like her and everything like that, it's just, I just love that book so much, and he most definitely fell first. Next book I'm gonna recommend is the book I'm currently reading right now. I'm loving it. It is Most of All You by Mia Sheridan. This book is bad girl, good innocent boy. In this book, the girl has a really rough upbringing and is focused on guarding herself, not letting anyone get to know her, not opening up, and being very like detached from everything, from feeling anything and whatever. And then this boy comes into where she works. she immediately notices how innocent and pure and out of place he looks, and realizes that he is a boy that had gone missing when they were young, and now he is struggling so much with intimacy after his trauma, and they are just two broken people that find each other. And as much as the girl tries to push him away and push him away and push him away, there's something that keeps them together, and he is so determined from the start. He sees something in her that no one else sees. She just feels so worthless, and he sees her like she is like perfect. I just love that because he had been through so much and she has been through so much, and yet she felt like no one could ever love her, and he just totally proved her wrong. And I love it so much so far. I can't wait to see how the rest of the book unfolds. The next book I'm going to be talking about is one I also recently read, which was Well Met. This book was very different than anything I've ever read. It is like set at a Renaissance fair, which is like where they have to like dress up in like time outfits and act as if they are part of this like timepiece. The girl in this book had moved to this small town to take care of her niece because her sister gets in a car accident, so she's kind of there taking care of their niece. The niece is in this Renaissance fair, so she volunteers to be in it as well, and she ends up meeting this boy who is like so mean to her from the first day she gets there. He's just super dry and makes her feel like shit basically. And then as the summer goes on, this other boy is flirting with her, but she doesn't really like him. For some reason she has her like eyes stuck on this boy that is mean to her, and then when he is in character and dressed up, he acts like he's like obsessed with this girl, but only when he's in character. So it gets really confusing. She's like, is this just for show? Does he actually like me? Like, what is going on? My camera just died, so I have no idea where I left off, but I think I was talking about Well Met. Acts like he likes her when he's in character, and then when he's not in character, he's like super standoffish. So the girl's getting really confused. She confronts him about it. He admits that he likes her, but then there's jealousy involved, but then there's so much going on. I didn't really get attached to this book, but it was entertaining and I liked it in the moment, but it's not like one of my favorites of all time. Definitely the boy fell first, but you didn't know he fell first until he confessed to why he was treating that way and what was happening and what was going through his head, and then it all started to make sense. It's a cute rom-com. I'm just gonna quickly say the next book I'm gonna talk about is The Selection by Kiera Cass. This is young adult, everyone's read it, but the boy definitely falls first, but then it is a love triangle and back and forth, up and down, fall out of love, fall in love. I have a whole reading blog on this if you want to watch it. The next book I'm gonna be talking about is Culty by Mariana Zapata. Now, if you've read this, you're probably like, that does not fit this trope, but let me plead my case. So basically, in this book, the girl Sal is a soccer player. Her whole life, she idolized this professional soccer player named Culty. That's his last name. He was like her idol. She had posters of him all over her room, and then when she grows up, she's on a professional soccer team. He is her coach. She went from loving him her whole life, like literally worshiping this man, to realizing she doesn't like him in person. He's like cold and rude and very like emotionless and mean to her, and she just doesn't like him. He's like really rude to her at practice and like singles her out. Then she kind of cracks through his like hard exterior and gets him to open up a little bit, and they become kind of friends, still with like kind of back and forth bickering, become kind of friends, and it turns into a relationship. But I felt like he wanted a relationship and fell for her first. If you like good sports romance, slow burn, you would like Culty by Mariana Zapata. Next book I'm going to be talking about is Dirty Letters by Vi Keeland and Penelope Ward. This book is kind of similar to Punk 57 in the way that the two characters are pen pals. They've been writing to each other since they were in school. The guy starts going through a really hard time, I think in high school, and the girl stops responding to his letters, and he's like, wow, literally screw you, I needed you, you were my best friend. They were like kind of falling for each other through these letters. She randomly cuts him off and he has no idea why. They grow up. She finds his old letters, realizes that she never opened them, writes to him again years later, and they start writing again, and she is determined to find out who he is in person. And when she finds out, he is actually a whole ass celebrity. He's like famous, like Harry Styles boy band vibes, and he is under a fake like stage name, so she never realized it was him. And she has really bad crowd anxiety, doesn't like big areas. She has a trauma with that, so these two people are just not compatible. But he definitely fell for her first as kids, like was obsessed with her and in love with her, and she cut him off. And then she finds out who he is, and then she's apprehensive again, but he's determined to make it work between them. I thought it was a really unique trope where one of them is famous, but she didn't know he was famous, so she didn't treat him like he was famous until she found out who he actually was, and he definitely fell first like both times. The next book is Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. This This book is about this guy named Wes who moved to this small town and becomes a construction worker as he's taking care of his niece because his sister is off doing something, not taking care of her daughter. He gets there and he meets this girl named Bethany who everyone thinks is perfect. He even thinks she's perfect. Everyone like worships her work ethic, thinks she's like such an amazing person. And then he walks in on her having a panic attack, and he's the first person to realize that she's not actually perfect. She has really bad anxiety, and he pursues her. He definitely does. He's super attracted to her, and he thinks like very highly of her, even though he saw her at her worst. She is apprehensive, doesn't want to get involved with him, is embarrassed about what he saw, and he definitely fell first, and they work together. So it's kind of like workplace romance, forced proximity, but it's like a construction. She's the set designer, and then there's like a reality show. I really enjoyed it. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. The girl thinks that he hates her. She does not like him. They do not get along. They butt heads. He's kind of mean to her in a funny way. Basically, their siblings are getting married, so they're both the best man and the maid of honor at this wedding, but the groom and the bride end up getting food poisoning. So then they have this prepaid honeymoon that they can't go on, so they send their brother and their sister on this honeymoon, and when they go, they realize that they have to use the brother and the sister's name. So now they are married at this resort. Everyone thinks they're married. All the staff, they have like this whole week planned that was supposed to be for the honeymoon. So now they're kind of like fake married, fake dating kind of for this whole trip. And it's so obvious that the guy like not faking. Again, just like the Spanish Love Deception, it felt very similar to that, where you can tell he like isn't faking, but like he's using the faking thing as like kind of a ruse to get close with her. And then she's realizing he's not as bad as she thought. Then his ex-girlfriend ends up showing up at this resort, so they start fake dating even more. Like, I don't know. They start acting like they're actually really together even in front of her, so it's like another incentive for them to act like they're together. And it was really good. Fake dating trope. I really like that book, but he definitely liked her first. Next book I'm going to be talking about is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is past and present perspective, childhood friends to lovers, but the guy definitely falls first. The girl is more closed off and sheltered. Her mom passes away, and she doesn't want to lose her best friend by pursuing a relationship with him, even though she does get jealous when he talks to other girls, and she obviously likes him, but he is very obvious, and he's like, I want to be with you. When are you going to be ready for me to be with you? Like, I want to date you. I want to be with you, whatever. He's definitely into her first. And then in the present chapters, it's the same way. It's them reuniting again, and the first time he sees her, he is like, you are my soulmate. I know you are. I just broke up with my girlfriend because I know that I'm meant to be with you. Like, reconnecting with you is because I know I'm supposed to be with you. And she's with someone else. She's hesitant, but they are literally soulmates and meant to be together. And I love that book so much. One of my all-time favorites. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. That is going to be the end of all the books I have to recommend for Boy Falls First. I hope you got some good recommendations from this video for this trope. If you want to follow me on my other social medias, they're all linked down below as always. And I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Bye!